Hello, English learners. Welcome back to English Pod. My name is Marco.
And I'm Erica.
And today we're going to be bringing you the second part of our job interview series.
That's right. So this is an advanced lesson, and we're going to be talking about educational background and experience.
Right. So in the first part, we saw preparing for a job interview. Now we are at the job interview, and we're just going to be talking about your educational background and your job experience.
That's right. And the language we're going to learn is going to focus mostly on these two areas.
Okay, perfect. So let's take a look at some of the difficult words before we listen to the dialogue in Vocabulary Preview.
Vocabulary Preview.
All right, so we're going to talk about a few common words that have to do with education. Now, the first word, I think we might know this one, but there's a little trick to it. So the first one is major.
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 So, yeah, I guess everyone knows what a major is, right?
Yeah, it's the main subject that you study in university.
Right, so you can study business as a major or...
history.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but you can also use it as a verb, right?
That's right. I majored in history.
Majored in. So usually it's followed by the preposition in.
Yes, always, in fact.
Okay.
When used as a verb, I majored in science.
I majored in business.
Yes.
Okay, so you can say my major is business administration or history, or you can say I majored in business.
Yeah, and the same pattern applies to minor.
Okay, so minor, this is really interesting because this is more common in English-speaking countries, right?
That's right.
So what exactly is a minor?
Well, just like your major, but smaller.
Okay.
So if you major in history, maybe 60% of your classes are in history, and you minor in French, maybe 30 or 40% of your classes are in French.
So basically you can have two subjects in your degree. You can have a major in business with a minor in art.
Yes.
Okay, that's interesting.
All right, and another two simple words, a bachelor's degree.
Bachelor's degree, okay.
A bachelor's degree is what you get after going to university for 4 years.
Okay, so a bachelor's degree, after 4 years, you get that.
Yep.
After that, you get a master's degree.
Right. So that's another 2 years after your bachelor's degree.
Okay, and I guess a master's is more focused on an area, right?
Yes, more specialized.
More specialized. And then the highest degree you can get is a PhD.
Exactly.
Which is a philosophy doctorate, right? But you're not actually getting a degree in philosophy.
No, it could be in international relations.
Okay. But this is really hard to get. You have to go to school for another 5 or 6 years, right?
Yeah.
And it's a lot of research, and not many people have it.
Yeah. Anyway, some simple words, but you know what? It's quite unique to the English-speaking world, this system, so we thought we'd bring it to you now.
Right, perfect. So now let's listen to this guy who is at an interview, and he's going to be talking about his education and work experience.
Thanks for coming in today. Did you have any trouble finding us? Please, take a seat.
Thank you.
So, let's get started. Tell me a bit about your educational background.
Sure, well, I graduated with honors from Chesterton University with a major in business administration, with a specialization in information management, and I minored in psychology. I chose this course of study for two reasons. I wanted to gain some practical, marketable skills, which the information management track provided, and I also feel that the interpersonal skills are essential for professional success, hence the minor in psychology.
Interesting. And your postgraduate studies?
Well, I am really passionate about consumer behavior, so I pursued a master's in that area. I also strive to keep my professional skills current, so I continuously attend seminars and conferences related to management and customer service.
Very good. Now, tell me a little bit about your work experience. I see here that you previously worked at Oracle.
Yeah, I worked as their customer support manager, which brought me a breadth of experience in both client care and process management. I supervised and coordinated the customer support team as well as implemented new strategies to achieve better customer satisfaction.
Interesting.
Yes, in this position, I was able to make some pretty significant contributions to the overall success of the company. With the different initiatives that we implemented, we lowered our churn rate to about 5%, which had a direct impact on revenue.
Well, those are some pretty good answers to those questions, but I don't know, Marco.
There was a little awkward moment. I don't know if you guys heard it. Natural body, what's it called? Functions.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, dear.
well, making the interview a little bit more interesting, right? It doesn't have to be boring.
Exactly. But what is really interesting is some of the language he used to describe his educational background and work experience. So let's look at that now in Language Takeaway.
Language takeaway.
Okay, so in language takeaway today, we have 7 words that we want to focus on before we give you some tips about doing well on a job interview. So let's take a look at the first word. Course of study.
Course of study.
Course of study.
A course of study.
So what is a course of study exactly?
Basically, it's like a plan of study or a path of study.
Okay, so his course of study was...
Business administration.
Exactly, so that is his course of study. Now let's take a look at our second word. Track.
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 So he said he wanted to gain some practical, markable skills that the information management track provided.
Exactly.
So what does he mean by this track?
Again, basically, if the track of study is like the path of study.
Okay.
So the direction of your study.
Okay, so I guess it would be like, think of a train and the train tracks, right?
Exactly.
Where the train travels. So that's where it's taking you. That's the path that he followed or you should follow or you want to follow.
Yes.
Okay, that's pretty interesting. Now let's take a look at our third word, and it's a really nice conjunction. Hence.
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 H-E-N-C-E. Hence.
Hence. So it sounds fancy, but
Yes.
what
Really
does
simple.
it mean?
So, therefore. Yeah.
Right. So you can use it as a conjunction between 2 ideas. So he said, what would be an example of how you could use hence?
You could say the economy is doing poorly, hence people are losing their jobs.
Okay. Hence. So therefore, in consequence.
Right.
So.
Exactly.
But it just sounds a lot more like professional.
Formal.
Formal.
Yeah.
Okay. So try and use this conjunction hence, right? Instead of saying so, therefore.
Yep.
Use it. Okay. Our fourth word.
Pursued.
Pursued.
He pursued a master's.
Okay. So to pursue.
To chase after something.
To chase after.
Rawr.
So you can pursue a master's degree like he did.
Yes, you can pursue a promotion.
A dream.
Nice one.
Can you pursue a girl?
Yes, you can.
All right. So pursue to chase.
Yes.
Okay. Now let's look at our next word. Strive.
Another great word you can use when talking about your experience. To strive is to try really hard.
To try really hard.
Yeah.
Okay. So I know we have some examples for strive.
Yeah, let's take a listen.
Example 1. At our company, we are always striving to improve our services. Example 2. He really strived to get a new job and his work paid off.
Okay, great examples of strive, to fight, to try really hard.
Yep.
All right. Okay, now the next word, I didn't really know what it meant, so this is really interesting. Breadth.
Breadth.
So it's kind of like saying bread, but adding a TH at the end.
Yeah.
Breadth.
Breadth of experience.
Okay, so this basically means it's wide.
Exactly. So when you have a great breadth of experience, you have a wide variety of experience.
Okay, so maybe in different fields or in different jobs. So
Yep.
you can have experience like in marketing and in a little bit in finance and a little bit in management.
Yes, a breadth of experience.
All right. All right. And now for the last word, it's actually 3-in-1.
A 3-in-1 deal.
3-in-1 deal. That actually they are very related.
Okay.
Right? So when he talked about his work experience, he was saying he supervised and coordinated the customer support team.
Okay, so he watched over, right? And made things work together well.
To coordinate.
Yes.
So these are really great verbs that you can use when you're talking about your job responsibilities.
Yes.
I supervised.
I coordinated.
And here's another really great one that said to implement,
To implement, to make something happen, to put it in place.
right? So he implemented new strategies.
Implemented new policies.
Okay. To set in action.
Exactly.
All right. So a lot of great vocabulary, a lot of great stuff, and well, you can use it for when you are at a job interview. So let's listen to this dialogue again, and when we come back, we're going to give you some tips so you'll do well in this part of the job interview.
Hello and welcome to the English Podcast Zone. I'm so glad you're here today. In this episode, we're diving into one of the most important parts of a job interview, talking about your educational background and your work experience. This is where many candidates either shine or stumble, and today I want to help you make sure you shine brightly. Let's begin with your education. When an interviewer asks you to talk about your educational background, they're not just looking for the name of your school or the degree you earned. What they really want is to see how your education has prepared you for the job you're applying for. So instead of simply saying, I have a bachelor's degree in marketing, you should expand. For example, you could say, I completed my bachelor's degree in marketing at London University, where I focused on digital marketing strategies, social media analytics, and consumer behavior. These subjects taught me how to analyze market trends and understand customer needs, which I believe are essential skills for this role. Notice how this type of response is both informative and relevant. You're not only saying what you studied, but also how it connects to the job. And that's the goal, showing the connection between your education and the position you're applying for. Also, don't forget to mention any minors, certifications, online courses, or specializations you completed. For example, in addition to my major, I minored in graphic design, which gave me practical skills in using tools like Photoshop and Illustrator. This helped me create eye-catching visuals for our university marketing campaigns. Again, this gives the interviewer a clearer picture of what you can bring to the table. And here's a great tip. If you earned your degree with honors or had any academic distinctions, bring them up. Saying something like, I graduated with distinction, or I was among the top 5% of my class, helps highlight your dedication and performance. Use phrases such as graduated with honors, earned a specialization in, or completed a capstone project on. Now let's talk about language. Here are some key verbs and expressions that sound professional and natural in interviews when discussing your education. Majored in. I majored in economics. Minored in. I minored in political science. Specialized in. I specialized in digital branding. Graduated with honors. I graduated with honors in engineering. Completed a thesis on. I completed a thesis on cross-cultural marketing strategies. Pursued a degree in. I pursued a master's degree in international relations. Took additional courses in. I took additional courses in public speaking and negotiation. These are real, usable, and powerful phrases that help you sound more fluent and confident. Now, I want to add something very important. Your educational background isn't just about formal school degrees. Think about workshops, seminars, boot camps, and even self-study. For instance, if you've been taking online courses on platforms like Coursera or Udemy, mention them. Say, to continue building my skills, I recently completed a professional certificate in data analytics. Remember, today's employers value continuous learning. Show them that you don't just rely on your past studies. You're still learning, growing, and improving. Now let's move into the second big area you'll face in any job interview, talking about your work experience. This is where your story really starts to matter. Your goal is to make the interviewer see not just where you've worked, but what kind of impact you made. First, avoid just listing your past jobs like a resume. Instead, talk about what you did, how you did it, and what results you achieved. For example, instead of saying, I worked as a sales assistant, say something like, in my role as a sales assistant at Global Tech, I increased customer retention by 15% by introducing a new follow-up system and offering personalized product recommendations. This kind of answer is strong because it includes your role, the action you took, A measurable result. This format is known as the STAR method: situation, task, action, result. And it's one of the most powerful tools you can use in an interview. You can say something like, "In my previous position at a retail company, we were facing high customer complaints about delayed responses. I took the initiative to redesign the support process, implemented a ticketing system, and trained the staff. As a result, customer satisfaction improved by 25% over 3 months." That's a perfect example of the STAR method in action. Now let's talk about vocabulary. When you're describing your work, try to use action verbs that sound confident and professional. Instead of always saying did or helped, use stronger words. Here are some excellent verbs to use. Supervised. I supervised a team of 5 junior analysts. Implemented. I implemented a new onboarding system. Coordinated. I coordinated marketing efforts across 3 departments. Improved. I improved internal communication by launching weekly updates. Managed. I managed a project with a budget of $100,000. Developed. I developed a training manual for new hires. Launched. I launched a new product line that boosted sales. Also, include results when possible, numbers, percentages, timeframes. These make your achievements concrete. For example, I reduced average response time by 30%, or I increased revenue by $50,000 in 6 months. And here's an important cultural tip. In English-speaking interviews, being confident is essential. It's not considered arrogant to talk about your success, if you can back it up with facts. Say, "I contributed significantly to the team's success," or "I was recognized for exceeding our sales targets for 3 consecutive quarters." These types of phrases are expected and respected. One more piece of advice. Tailor your experience to the job you're applying for. If the job requires strong communication skills, highlight how your past roles involved presentations, teamwork, or client interactions. If the job is in management, focus on how you led teams or handled responsibilities. By speaking clearly, using the right vocabulary, and highlighting real results, you show the interviewer that you're not just experienced. You're effective. Now let's go even deeper and talk about how to connect your educational background and work experience in a meaningful way. One of the most impressive things you can do in an interview is to show how your education has directly influenced your success at work. This kind of connection demonstrates self-awareness, intentional growth, and strategic thinking. For example, you might say something like, "During my studies in psychology, I became fascinated with human behavior, which helped me better understand customer motivations. I applied that knowledge in my role as a marketing assistant, where I helped design a user experience strategy that boosted engagement by 20%. Notice how that example ties everything together. Your degree, your interests, and your accomplishments. That's powerful storytelling. That's what interviewers love to hear. How your background has shaped your professional skills and mindset. Now let's go over some useful expressions and sentence structures that you can use to describe these kinds of connections. My studies in helped me develop a strong foundation in which I later applied in One of the most valuable lessons I learned during my academic years was I've used this frequently in my role as The analytical skills I developed through my coursework in have been crucial in my work as While studying I developed an interest in which led me to pursue a career in These are the kinds of sentences that show you're not just listing facts, you're reflecting on your journey and explaining why it matters. Let's also take a moment to look at some advanced vocabulary and phrases that sound natural and professional. Transferable skills. These are abilities that can be used in many different jobs. For example, communication, problem solving, or time management. My time in university helped me develop strong transferable skills, especially critical thinking and collaboration. Applied knowledge. This means using what you've learned in a real situation. I applied the knowledge from my computer science degree directly when building an internal tool that saved my team hours of manual work each week. Foundation in. This phrase refers to your basic understanding or training in a subject. I have a strong foundation in data analysis thanks to my statistics coursework. Professional growth. This refers to how you've developed over time in your career. Each position I've held has contributed to my professional growth and helped me expand my skill set. Remember, you're telling a story. And every great story needs a clear connection between what you've learned and what you've done. So when you prepare for your interview, take time to reflect on your path. Ask yourself, how did my education lead me to this point? What experiences helped me apply what I've learned? What challenges pushed me to grow? These reflections will make your interview answers more thoughtful, fluent, and authentic, just what employers are looking for. Let's now focus on another important aspect of discussing your background in a job interview, talking about ongoing learning and development. One of the biggest mistakes candidates make is thinking that their education and past work are enough. But in today's fast-changing world, employers value people who are constantly updating their knowledge and skills. So how do you talk about this in an interview? Use phrases that show you're proactive and committed to growth. For example, you could say, to stay current in my field, I regularly take online courses on topics like digital strategy and customer analytics. Or outside of work, I read industry blogs and attend webinars to stay informed about the latest trends. Let me give you some useful phrases you can use. I make it a habit to read at least one article per day on industry developments. To stay up to date with changes in software development, I attend monthly coding meetups. I recently completed a certificate course in project management, which enhanced my ability to lead cross-functional teams. I've been expanding my skills in data visualization using tools like Tableau and Power BI. These kinds of statements show that you're not someone who stops learning after graduation. You keep moving forward. This is also a great place to bring in soft skills. While technical knowledge is crucial, employers also look for people who are strong in communication, collaboration, and leadership. So if you've taken courses in emotional intelligence, conflict resolution, or leadership, mention them. For example, I took a short course on effective team communication, which helped me become a better listener and facilitator during meetings. Here's another tip. Use phrases like I took the initiative to, or I actively sought out opportunities to. These phrases show your drive. For instance, I took the initiative to learn Excel macros so I could automate repetitive tasks in our reporting process. Also, remember that not all learning happens in a classroom. You can talk about what you've learned through challenging projects, mentoring others, or even from mistakes. You might say, one of the most valuable learning experiences I had was during a project that failed to meet its goals. I learned how to better manage timelines and stakeholder expectations, and I've applied those lessons ever since. That kind of honesty and insight is highly respected in interviews. It shows that you grow from experience and that you reflect on how to improve. So don't just describe what you've done. Show how you're becoming better every day. And that mindset of continuous learning will help you stand out as a serious, professional, and future-ready candidate. Now let's explore how to present yourself as someone who adds value to an organization. Something that goes beyond just listing your qualifications and experiences. Interviewers are constantly asking themselves, what can this person bring to our company? So, you need to show them that hiring you will be a smart investment. A great way to do this is by highlighting your contributions in past roles. Talk about the specific things you did that made a difference. Maybe you increased efficiency, improved customer satisfaction, generated new ideas, or solved a major problem. Instead of general statements, go for precise, impressive language. For example, instead of saying, I helped with the marketing campaign, say, I contributed to a digital marketing campaign that increased website traffic by 40% in 3 months. This makes your value clear, specific, and memorable. Here are some powerful action phrases you can use in interviews. I played a key role in redesigning our client onboarding process, which reduced drop-off rates. I made a measurable impact by launching a referral program that brought in 150 new customers. I introduced a system that I introduced a feedback tracking system that helped us resolve customer issues 25% faster. I took the lead on organizing our annual client appreciation event, which resulted in stronger partnerships. I consistently exceeded monthly sales targets by an average of 20% through targeted outreach and follow-up. These phrases don't just describe what you did. They show your value through action and outcome. Also, when you speak about your contributions, show that you understand how your work fits into the bigger picture. For example, by automating weekly reports, I freed up 10 hours per month for the team, allowing us to focus more on client strategy. This tells the interviewer that you're not just doing tasks, you're solving problems and improving the workflow. Let's not forget teamwork. Many positions require collaboration, so show that you can work well with others while still making individual contributions. You might say, in a team of 5, I was responsible for coordinating timelines and ensuring communication stayed clear. My efforts helped us complete the project ahead of schedule. Here's a helpful vocabulary list to use when talking about how you add value. Initiative. I showed initiative by launching a weekly training session for new employees. Efficiency. I improved efficiency by creating a streamlined approval process. Innovation. I introduced an innovative tool that simplified task management. Optimization. I optimized our ad campaigns, resulting in higher returns. Impact. My role had a direct impact on reducing customer churn. Remember, interviews aren't just about who you were. They're about what you can offer right now. Use strong, confident language to show your value clearly, and you'll leave a lasting impression. Let's now shift our focus to one of the most common but often misunderstood questions in a job interview. Tell me about yourself. Even though this question sounds simple, it's actually one of the most important moments in the entire interview. It sets the tone, builds your image, and gives you the chance to control the narrative. So how should you answer this question? First, don't just repeat your resume. Instead, tell a brief, engaging story that connects your background, your experience, and your passion. You want to give the interviewer a snapshot of who you are professionally, what drives you, and why you're the right fit. Here's a strong structure to follow. Start with your current role or situation. Give a quick summary of your past experience. Highlight key accomplishments or skills. Explain what you're looking for now and why. Let's hear an example. I'm currently a customer relationship manager at BrightTech, where I lead a team focused on improving client satisfaction. Over the last 5 years, I've worked in various customer service roles, which helped me develop strong communication and leadership skills. One of my proudest moments was implementing a new support system that reduced response times by 30%. I'm now looking for a position where I can take on more strategic responsibilities and continue growing in a company that values innovation and customer experience. That's short, clear, and purposeful. Let's break down some useful expressions and phrases you can use when crafting your own response. I'm currently working as a digital analyst at a market research firm. Over the past 7 years, I've developed deep experience in managing remote teams. I've had the opportunity to work with international clients and lead cross-cultural projects. One of my proudest achievements was launching an internal training program that increased productivity by 15%. I'm now looking to apply my skills in a fast-paced global environment. And here's an important cultural point. In English-speaking interviews, confidence is expected, but it should always come with humility and professionalism. Be proud of your strengths, but don't sound like you're bragging. Use facts and results to speak for themselves. It's also helpful to end your answer with a short sentence that connects you to the company you're interviewing with. For example, I've always admired your company's focus on user-centered design, and I'm excited about the possibility of contributing to that mission. That closing line shows that you've done your research and that you genuinely care about the company's goals. Remember, this question isn't about your life story. It's about your professional journey and where you're headed next. When you answer it well, you create a strong first impression and show the interviewer exactly why you're worth their time. Now let's talk about one of the most strategic things you can do in an interview: tailoring your answers to match the company's needs and values. Many candidates make the mistake of giving general answers, but the most successful ones personalize their responses to show that they truly understand what the company is looking for. So how do you do that? Start by researching the company before the interview. Look at their mission statement, their recent projects, their company culture, and the specific responsibilities of the job. Then, think about how your background, skills, and experience align with those things. Let's say you're applying to a tech company that emphasizes innovation and teamwork. Instead of just saying, "I'm good at working with others," say, "I'm excited about your collaborative culture. In my previous role, I worked closely with product designers and engineers to launch a mobile app feature that increased user engagement by 35%. I enjoy building solutions through team collaboration." This kind of response shows that you're not just a good candidate, you're a good fit. Here are some phrases that can help you connect your experience to the company's needs. I notice that your company values. I notice that your company values sustainability, which aligns with my personal and professional goals. I was impressed by your work on digital inclusion. My volunteer work in tech education really connects with that mission. This role seems like a great match for my background in user research and customer journey mapping. I admire the way your team approaches customer experience. That's something I've prioritized in every job I've had. Also, use vocabulary that reflects the company's language. If they use words like collaborative, data-driven, or fast-paced, you can naturally include those in your answers. For example, I thrive in fast-paced environments, and I use data-driven decision-making in every campaign I lead. Doing this shows that you've paid attention, and that you speak the same professional language. Another great tip is to refer to specific skills mentioned in the job description. For instance, if the listing says they need someone who can manage multiple projects, you might say, "I've successfully led several projects at once, balancing deadlines, client expectations, and cross-functional team coordination." Remember, when you make your answers relevant to the company, you help the interviewer picture you already in the role. That kind of clarity and connection can give you a real advantage. So always be specific, thoughtful, and company aware. It's not just about what you've done, it's about how what you've done matters to them. Let's now focus on one of the most overlooked but powerful ways to stand out in a job interview: demonstrating your soft skills through real examples. While your education and technical skills are important, soft skills like communication, leadership, adaptability, and problem-solving often make the biggest difference when it comes to getting hired. But here's the key: don't just say you have soft skills, show them. For instance, instead of saying, "I have good communication skills," give a short story that proves it. You might say, "In my previous job, I noticed that our weekly team meetings were often disorganized and time-consuming. I proposed a new structure with clear agendas and rotating facilitators. As a result, our meetings became more efficient and led to better team collaboration." Now that's a strong example. You're not just saying you're a good communicator, you're showing it in action. Here are some soft skills that are commonly valued in job interviews, along with useful phrases you can use to describe them. Communication. I regularly presented project updates to executives, translating complex data into clear, actionable insights. I led client meetings and built long-term relationships through active listening and follow-up. Teamwork. Working in a cross-functional team taught me how to adapt to different working styles and keep projects moving forward. I contributed to a team that won a company award for collaboration on a major launch. Leadership. I mentored 2 junior colleagues and helped them achieve their first project milestones independently. I was trusted to lead a task force that solved a major scheduling issue, improving efficiency by 20%. Problem solving. When we experienced a software failure, I quickly developed a temporary solution and coordinated with IT to resolve the issue. I identified a recurring client complaint and created a new FAQ resource that reduced tickets by 30%. Adaptability. When the pandemic forced us to go remote, I adapted quickly by setting up virtual tools and helping others adjust. I've worked in both startup and corporate settings, adjusting my style to suit different cultures and expectations. And here's a phrase that's useful for introducing any of these. One example that highlights my leadership skills is the time I was asked to take over a failing project midway and bring it to completion under a tight deadline. That kind of storytelling is persuasive, memorable, and engaging. Also, don't be afraid to reflect on what you learned from the experience. This shows maturity and growth. For example, that project not only strengthened my problem-solving skills but also taught me how to stay calm under pressure and manage competing priorities. Soft skills are what make you a well-rounded professional. And when you share them through personal real examples, you become more than just a resume. You become someone the interviewer can imagine working with. Let's now turn to one of the trickiest areas of the job interview. How to handle difficult or unexpected questions. Every interviewer will likely throw in at least one question that challenges you. Something that makes you think on your feet, reflect deeply, or respond to something uncomfortable. Your ability to stay calm, thoughtful, and articulate in these moments can leave a powerful impression. For example, you might be asked, "What's your biggest weakness? Tell me about a time you failed. Why did you leave your last job? Where do you see yourself in 5 years?" The goal isn't to avoid these questions. It's to answer them with honesty, clarity, and strategy. Let's start with the biggest weakness question. Avoid cliché answers like "I'm a perfectionist" or "I work too hard." Instead, choose a real area for improvement, but one that isn't a core requirement of the job, and explain how you're working on it. For example, one area I've been working on is public speaking. Early in my career, I avoided large presentations, but I realized it's an important leadership skill. So I joined a local speaking club and now lead monthly meetings at work. This shows self-awareness, growth, and action. All good things in an interview. Now let's talk about how to handle questions about failure. Use the opportunity to demonstrate resilience, learning, and accountability. Try a structure like this. Briefly describe the situation. Explain what went wrong. Focus on what you learned and how you improved. For example, while managing a marketing campaign last year, I underestimated the time needed for content approvals. As a result, we launched a few days late. It was a tough lesson, but it taught me the importance of building in buffer time. Now I always add a 10% time cushion in my project timelines. Here are some useful phrases to help you structure these kinds of responses. One area I've worked to improve is, "Looking back, I would have approached the situation differently by. This experience taught me to. Since then, I've made it a priority to." You might also get unexpected or odd questions designed to test how you handle pressure. For example, "If you were a tree, what kind of tree would you be?" These questions don't really have a right answer. They're testing your creativity, composure, and ability to think quickly. A good approach is to stay calm and light-hearted. Say something like, "I'd say I'm like a bamboo tree. Flexible, fast-growing, and able to stay strong even in difficult conditions." That kind of answer shows personality and presence of mind. Finally, if you're asked something you didn't expect and you need a moment to think, that's okay. Use phrases like, "That's a great question, let me take a moment to think about it. I haven't been asked that before." Say, "Off the top of my head, I'd say." These give you a second to breathe, organize your thoughts, and give a clear, confident response. Remember, difficult questions are opportunities in disguise. They allow you to demonstrate emotional intelligence, self-reflection, and composure, all qualities that employers value highly. To wrap up this lesson on how to talk about your educational background and work experience in a job interview, let's focus on something that ties everything together: presenting your professional identity with confidence and clarity. This is about more than just listing what you've done. It's about showing who you are as a professional and what makes you uniquely valuable. Think of your professional identity as your personal brand. It includes your skills, values, work style, and the impact you consistently deliver. In an interview, every answer you give should reflect a strong and consistent message about who you are. For example, let's say your identity is centered around being a results-driven problem solver. You can express that in different ways. I enjoy identifying inefficiencies and finding smart solutions. In every role I've had, I've been the person who steps in when a process needs improvement. I take pride in delivering outcomes that truly make a difference to both customers and colleagues. This consistent messaging builds trust. The interviewer starts to see you as someone with a clear sense of purpose, not just someone looking for any job. Here are some useful phrases to help you communicate your identity clearly and professionally. What drives me is seeing a project through from idea to implementation and knowing it's made someone's job easier. I'm known for being detail-oriented and always meeting deadlines, even under pressure. My approach to work is very collaborative. I believe the best results come from open communication and shared ideas. One thing I consistently bring to the table is the ability to simplify complex problems and take action. Also, be sure to show alignment with the company's mission and values. For example, I've always believed in the power of ethical business practices and transparency, which is one reason I admire your company's approach. And here's a tip. Wrap up the interview with a short but strong statement that reinforces your readiness. Something like, I'm confident that my combination of hands-on experience, continuous learning, and passion for innovation would allow me to contribute immediately and grow with your team. This leaves a lasting final impression. Polished, purposeful, and professional. If you followed all the techniques we've covered, using strong vocabulary, telling clear stories, demonstrating soft skills, and aligning yourself with the company's values, you're already miles ahead of most candidates. Thank you for being a part of the English Podcast Zone.
Thanks for coming in today. Did you have any trouble finding us? Please, take a seat.
Thank you.
So, let's get started. Tell me a bit about your educational background.
Sure, well, I graduated with honors from Chesterton University with a major in business administration, with a specialization in information management, and I minored in psychology. I chose this course of study for two reasons. I wanted to gain some practical, marketable skills, which the information management track provided, and I also feel that the interpersonal skills are essential for professional success, hence the minor in psychology.
Interesting. And your postgraduate studies?
Well, I am really passionate about consumer behavior, so I pursued a master's in that area. I also strive to keep my professional skills current, so I continuously attend seminars and conferences related to management and customer service.
Very good. Now, tell me a little bit about your work experience. I see here that you previously worked at Oracle.
Yeah, I worked as their customer support manager, which brought me a breadth of experience in both client care and process management. I supervised and coordinated the customer support team as well as implemented new strategies to achieve better customer satisfaction.
Interesting.
Yes, in this position, I was able to make some pretty significant contributions to the overall success of the company. With the different initiatives that we implemented, we lowered our churn rate to about 5%, which had a direct impact on revenue.
All right, well, I want to talk about two main things. And the first thing I want to talk about is how you address this question about your educational background. Like, what is the interviewer looking to find out?
Okay, perfect. So when you are talking about your educational background, you shouldn't only talk about your college degree, right?
Yep.
You should also talk about any type of training that you've had.
Yeah, I think it's really important to let the interviewer know that you're continually trying to update your skills and improve your knowledge. So any sort of courses or seminars that you might attend, this is a great chance to highlight those.
And that's what the interview is looking for, right?
Also, any trade publications, any magazines that you read related to your job is a great way to sort of highlight your desire to keep learning.
Well, I think that's really important because it's good that you went to a good university, you got this degree and everything, but continuously training yourself, and maybe just by listening to business podcasts or reading specific magazines or stuff like that, that is demonstrating that you care about what you do and that you are continuously learning, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Okay, so those are the main things to talk about in your educational background. Now, when this work experience question pops up, what should you really say?
When you're answering this question, I think there's something really important to keep in mind.
And what's that?
You want to make sure that you're being as specific as possible, right?
Right, so giving examples of what you've done.
Like really specifically what you did, all of the sort of the main achievements you have.
Okay, so like for example, we saw in our dialogue that he talked about specific strategies that he implemented to improve customer support in that company.
Right, and he gave some numbers.
Right, he said, yeah, he lowered the churn rate to about 5%.
So it's so important whenever you can attach a number to your success or your achievement, to be able to do that in the interview really demonstrates your achievement.
Yeah, I think that's really important. And another thing when you're talking about previous jobs is make sure you keep it on a positive note, right? Even if your experience was not very good or you didn't like the company or you had problems, you should avoid talking about that and always keep it on a positive note.
Right. So if the interviewer asks you why you want to join this company, why you're looking to leave your current job, you want to give these positive reasons.
Right. You don't want to say, well, because my boss was a jerk or I didn't like the company anymore. Yeah. You should answer it with something positive like, well, I think I need a change, or this job opportunity is more aligned with what I want to do in the future, etc. Yeah, so positive always on your interviews, and just, again, prepare for these questions that are always going to be there.
Yes.
So, Erica, I know that you've done a lot of interviews, and I understand that you've had a really weird question.
Yes. In an interview, I once got this question. If you were a tree, what kind of tree would you be?
Really?
Yeah, I'm not kidding. I really was asked that question.
What did you answer?
I think I said that I would want to be a willow tree because they're really beautiful.
Was that the right answer?
I don't know. Like, what are you supposed to answer to that question? I really don't know what the right answer was.
Well, some people, they'll ask you just, I don't know, random questions just to see what your response is. I think also maybe it's just how you deal with the pressure
or with the unexpected questions.
Right. So it's like, that is pretty unexpected though. But I guess you handled it pretty well.
Okay. Well, I mean, I got the job, so.
Nice. Yeah. All right.
All right. I want to know from our listeners, if they were a tree, what kind of tree they would be.
Yeah. And also tell us about, your job experience or your educational background. Well, I know, for example, that I've had a lot of different types of jobs. I've even been that person that gets on the bus and charges people the money.
I know. You've had every job under the sun.
So, but it's great. So tell us, what's the weirdest job you've had? What's the craziest or the best job? Or any experiences?
Yes. So visit our website, englishpod.com. Leave your questions and comments there on the website.
And we'll definitely be there to answer them, and we hope to see you there.
Thanks for listening, and goodbye.
Bye. The English Pod Audio Review. Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word. The history of the education you've had.
Educational background.
With special recognition for receiving very high marks.
With honors.
The main field of study in an undergraduate degree.
Major.
A limited area of study.
Specialization.
To have a secondary area of study in an undergraduate program.
Minor.
The combination of courses taken in a degree program.
Course of study.
Course of study.
Track.
Master's or PhD, education above the bachelor's degree level.
Postgraduate.
For that reason.
Hence.
Try to do something over a longer period of time.
Pursue.
Try hard to do something.
Strive.
A wide range or scope of something.
Breadth.
Important and large enough to have a noticeable effect.
Significant.
Adding or giving something.
Contribution.
University education.
Tertiary education.
Take the chance to do something before others do.
Take initiative.
Make something different in a special way.
Distinguish.
A good quality or feature that someone has.
Attribute.
Examine something in a careful and critical way.
Scrutinize.
Let's try that faster. Take the chance to do something before others do.
Take initiative.
A good quality or feature that someone has.
Attribute.
To have a secondary area of study in an undergraduate program.
Minor.
With special recognition for receiving very high marks.
With honors.
The history of the education you've had.
Educational background.
Try to do something over a longer period of time.
Pursue.
Course of study.
Track.
Master's or PhD, education above the bachelor's degree level.
Postgraduate.
For that reason.
Hence.
University education.
Tertiary education.
Adding or giving something.
Contribution.
The combination of courses taken in a degree program.
Course of study.
The main field of study in an undergraduate degree.
Major.
A limited area of study.
Specialization.
Try hard to do something.
Strive.
Important and large enough to have a noticeable effect.
Significant.
Make something different in a special way.
Distinguish.
Examine something in a careful and critical way.
Scrutinize.
A wide range or scope of something.
Breadth.
Now say the word and hear it in a sentence.
Course of study. I chose this course of study because it offers a wide range of work opportunities. Course of study. I want to change my course of study before the next semester starts. Course of study. My sister didn't choose her course of study. My parents decided for her. Pursue. They wanted to pursue their dream of traveling around the world, but it didn't happen. Pursue. My mother wants me to pursue a career in law. Pursue. You should really pursue that master's degree. It would really help your career. Strive. If you want to be successful, you must strive to achieve your goals. Strive. We strive to bring you outstanding customer service. Strive. Our company always strives to make our products better and better. Hence. The project was a complete failure. Hence, the project manager was fired. Hence. The project was postponed for 3 months, hence the delay in delivery. Hence. I never studied for my exams, hence my low marks.